All right. Good morning, everyone. Give me just a second. Let me turn down the music a little bit. All right. You guys should be able to hear me pretty well. I can't even hear the I can't even hear the music anymore. Hold on. There we go. A little too low. There we go. All right. Give me a sec. Okay, cool. So, I know we were talking about NASDAQ being bullish, extremely bullish on the monthly. But as soon as this happened here, and we got this this break of structure, that gives the monthly time frame permission to move lower. So personally, I do believe indices will continue to be bearish. At the beginning of our 30-day stream, I did mention that I'm long-term bearish across the board. I remain with the same bias. Super bearish. Okay, on the monthly perspective, it was the only one that was really bullish, but really the respecting of bearish order flow is clearly here. So in terms of NASDAQ, my weekly objective was previous weekly low. Give me 1 second. Let me put that on the weekly right there. Okay, so my weekly objective for NASDAQ overall was short, and it was set to this previous weekly low. Now, we were fairly close to it. So, I didn't mark it as hit on my end. I just marked it as I came up short on my target. But yeah, so I noted it, it was a good target, but overall, we ended up really just coming super close to it. And that was on Friday. Yeah, Friday we took like the whole weekly range. The entire weekly range got taken on Friday by NASDAQ. So notice we come back into previous weekly high. This insufficiency, or not insufficiency, but this previous weekly high here, that was right below that mitigation candle. Mitigation candle still got respected overall. And then you can see how this previous weekly high also got respected. Okay, so I know it's not a imbalance for sure. I know it kind of looks like it here on the right, but it's not an imbalance. But you can see how this current week comes up, trades into that previous weekly high again, and then continues moving towards the downside, towards that previous weekly low. So beautiful movement in terms of price action towards the downside. But the buildup towards the downside was I believe, like the more pain in the ass part, because Monday opens and just shorts, and we short right into these lows, thinking we're gonna take them all out, and no, we like leave them. We barely come down to previous daily low. Tuesday comes down, okay, sweeps previous daily low again, even deeper, and then pushes to the upside. Okay, so this is where me personally, I was on Tuesday. Let's bring up DXY on the right. So on Tuesday, where are you? Okay, Tuesday we had this accumulation on the dollar up until 10 a.m. Okay, and then Tuesday here on NASDAQ, yeah, right there. See how we trade into that gap right there? Trade into it, pull away into previous gap right there. It's just a fat ass gap. I don't want to mark it out. It's just too big. Okay. And you guys can see that really the bullish movement on indices, we didn't dump while we were flying on DXY. We didn't dump. So that kind of shows you guys, okay, if DXY is pumping, it's a pretty good indicator that indices could have a nice short off. Could is the keyword. Okay. But what really indicates is that if I don't see NASDAQ or indices per se shorting off, it means that they're having difficulty with weakness in the market, right? There's too much strength in the market. So given that, I'd wait for areas in which DXY can potentially retrace for the day. It doesn't have to reverse, but could potentially retrace for the day. And so that's when we came up with this gap here. Okay. Well, that's when we came across this gap here. Right? So that gap there, that one, yep. Okay. Yeah, I was like, I know we played with it more than once. There it is. Okay. So that gap there, notice 10 a.m. comes, okay, and we start shorting off. Here's 9 a.m., 10 a.m. Yeah, we just start shorting off after 10 a.m. So over here on indices, let's go back to 10 a.m. over here. Remember, 10 a.m. starts shorting off over here. Okay, and then over here, 10 a.m. Okay, 9 a.m. sweeps previous lows, or I guess this is 8:30. There might have been news there. I just didn't see them. Okay, and we accumulate. Notice, we accumulate out of that previous weekly opening gap or previous daily opening gap. Okay, we're pulling away from that area and respecting it overall. Okay, so every time we accumulated out away from it, that told me that, okay, these areas are going to respect. We already took out the previous daily lows. We already took out that low over here on the left. By the time I woke up, we were already taking all that out. And when we were on the stream, we were looking at some potential longs, okay, out of these lows. So we needed a little bit more liquidity. Right here. So right at 10, notice 10, 15. Okay. Then let's come over here to DXY. Where's 10, 15? 10, 10, 10, 15 starts dropping. Right around this area, starts distributing. And then just continues to dump towards the upper side of that range. But it didn't, it didn't retrace the entire day. It didn't take out any liquidity. It just dropped. Okay, and that gave indices the opportunity to just be bullish for that moment while this was dropping. Okay, so then you get a nice push up higher, which is beautiful. Yeah, I didn't see an entry point, at least for me. I did not see an entry point in terms of the longs there. Maybe on the smaller time frames, but it wasn't something I was personally pursuing. Yep. So again, it's just like waiting for timing, just weakness and strength in the market, identifying weakness and strength, because both DXY went up, and as it went up, we struggled to move any lower, and we were coming across this level of support, and we were trading away from this level of support, while DXY was trading into this previous area of resistance and away from it, right? But no rejections, no nothing up until we got into that area. Same with NASDAQ. We reject, and then we finally get the move. So if you were in early, you might have gotten stopped out by this retracement downwards. But if you took that entry, that was a really good trade. That was a really, really good trade. NASDAQ on CPI. CPI was a big whipsaw, at least for me. Yeah, no, that was CPI. This was Tuesday. Damn, I'm looking at the wrong fucking day. So let's wait here for So yeah, 10 a.m. Same thing. Same thing. This is where I was not in the direction of the market. So on Tuesday, notice how price action was just distributing above the highs here. Where are we? Let me make sure that I'm fucking looking at the right day. Tuesday. Yep. Tuesday right here. No, this is Monday. Why does it say Tuesday down here? Give me 1 second. Oh, man. I thought that was Monday's high right there. I really thought that was Monday's high. This is Monday's high. This is Monday. Monday was bullish. Let's look at DXY. Sorry about that. I got hella confused with my days. DXY shorts right off Sunday. Monday longs respects previous weekly opening gap. And same over here with DXY. Look, the pullback on DXY was the same pullback on NASDAQ. Pullback into a previous gap. Pullback into a previous gap. Rejects to the upside. Rejects towards the downside. That's beautiful. Nice correlation there. Then we have bullishness. So then the NASDAQ pulls lower. Okay. But then on Tuesday, we have this big drop on... Yeah, we have a pretty decent sized drop on DXY. And NASDAQ just continued to drop for that day. So you can see that those correlations are not always like the bread and butter, right? It's not your bread and butter. It's a supporting confirmation. And you have to be able to identify weakness and strength in the market. Because there may be a couple of scenarios when NASDAQ and DXY are falling or flying in the same direction, right? Because then you have CPI. CPI did go long on NASDAQ, but overall DXY didn't do a damn thing. NASDAQ was the only asset out of all of them that actually went long on, yeah, because all the other Tuesdays or Wednesdays, it was around the same range. This one shorted a little bit. S&P stayed in the same area. So really, there was no strength in the market, even though Wednesday didn't do. I mean, Wednesday didn't do anything on DXY and it didn't do anything across indices. NASDAQ managed to move upwards. I don't know how, but yeah, I know a couple of people that were in these longs though. So pretty nice. Okay, then you have Thursday. Okay, and Thursday was pretty bearish on the dollar. Thursday was PPI. Okay, and CPI really didn't do much, but PPI, I mean, you guys can see it here. So PPI was the day we were all together, and we were looking at price action, and we didn't have this range yet. So we were looking at price action previous initial high of the week, right? We got that initial high of the week there on the left, and previous daily highs. And then we also had this new week opening gap or new day opening gap area right below Asian lows. Okay, so we have Asian lows intact. Okay, and then you go 15-minute. Okay, and right at the open, okay, you could see that we were failing to move higher as we were taking out the highs. Took out previous daily high, and we were failing to go any higher. So at that moment, I was like, okay, there's some pretty good weakness in the market. So we're going to ride this PPI wave, right? We're going to ride this PPI wave downwards. And we were looking at the opening price because of PPI. So let's go look at PPI itself. PPI was 830. This whole down push right there. There it is. That whole initial down push right there was PPI. Okay, after that down push, we took that range entirely. Swept that liquidity to the upside, and so the weakness in the market was very visible around the open. So for me, it was as simple as breaker, imbalance, entry, right? Super simple. There wasn't much to it. Okay. And so that's how we took that trade on Thursday. And we just took it to that Asian low, I believe. Yeah. It did go a little further and everything, but we just took it to that Asian low. We were done for the day. And then right after that stream, right at the end of that stream, I mentioned some longs out of those blue shaded areas, right? But if you weren't here yesterday, I'm going to explain this to you guys one more time. But this is why targets are so important. Okay, this is why targets are so important. Because DXY. So DXY on Thursday. DXY on Thursday. Fuck. Where did you go on Thursday, DXY? It was on the 15-minute. There it is. Okay, so DXY on Thursday. Let's go pull it over here. DXY on Thursday trades like the whole PPI pumps the whole fucking move. Like, look, PPI pumps up, gets to the high end of that opening gap range, okay, and then accumulates out of this imbalance in the previous area of accumulation. And what I mentioned is that we needed to wait for a retracement because indices didn't look like they wanted to short for the day. There was a lot of strength in the market. Dow was refusing to move any lower. S&P was refusing to move very low on Thursday. Why? They needed this upside liquidity. So what we were waiting for is for a retracement on DXY to begin for us to be able to go long on indices. And so the retracement I mentioned was at the top of this range. Once we get to the top of this range and take out that high, I was going to look for longs on indices as DXY shorted. And why did I anticipate shorts out of this area, right? It's because we hit our weekly objective. So this is the previous weekly high right here, this orange line. So we got a previous weekly high and a new week opening gap. Those are pretty strong levels of resistance. So that's why I was looking for a rejection out of that area. So then we turn over to NASDAQ. So let's go look at DXY. When was it that DXY hit the high end of that range? Started reversing at 1020. NASDAQ. Let's go to NASDAQ. What time did we break structure here? 1020. 1020, we break structure below Asian lows into this previous gap, create a breaker. Okay, a breaker, which is this whole little area right here, the Wix 2. Okay, and right here you guys can see it. All right, so then you got the breaker, you have previous area of accumulation in form of an insufficiency, and this is where I personally would have gone in, but by then I was out of the market. I mean, I was just done for the day. Well, usually when I catch one setup, I'm done. And this is one of those days where I wish I didn't do that, because the way that price action came into our area and longed out of it after 1020, what is that? 1027. Let's go to DXY. 1027. And then we start shorting 1020. 1027 is right here. Look, that retracement. 1027. NASDAQ. $10.27, $10.28. Same little retracement, different side. Crazy. Not crazy. Beautiful. So let's go look at DXY in that area. Yeah, it's right here. This retracement right there. It's the same time frame. Look at the cursor line here on the left hand side on NASDAQ when I highlight this area. See how the time line or cursor hovers over the same retracement? Because this right here is the same thing as this right here. Same time slot right there, right? Beautiful price action. The longs were just beautiful. Anybody who participated in them, I salute, because yeah, they popped off, went right to our previous weekly high. So in terms of NASDAQ, I mean, NASDAQ was the one clapping it up. And then this is the day that took me by surprise, because I did not expect this big of a short for the day. I expected shorts because, I mean, there wasn't any strength in the market, but I only expected like this low. This actually took me way beyond surprise. So my objective was on Friday was this low right here. I didn't actually participate. I didn't take any entries into the shorts. Price action just dumped for the day. Yeah, and so that was my objective on NASDAQ. I mean, there's not much to talk about there. The price action just shorted hard. Okay, so not much there. But these areas were clean. Target for NASDAQ was hit. Let's go to Dow Jones. Let's go to Dow Jones. Dow Jones, man. Did anybody trade Dow Jones this week? Anybody trade Dow Jones this week? I personally, I don't think I pulled it a single time on Dow Jones this week. I could be wrong, but I don't recall trading Dow Jones this week. But still bearish. You know, this whole thing is super bearish. We closed below this bullish imbalance. We created a bearish imbalance that we just been respecting. Like, we've been playing with this imbalance for a while, for now 2 or 3 weeks. So overall, it's being respected. Weekly objective for Dow was previous weekly high. I'm going to show it to you guys right there. That previous weekly high was my objective for Dow. Straight out of my journal right there. Why Dow long and NASDAQ short though? So I'll tell you guys. In terms of Dow, I remember on Monday I mentioned to you guys that I just didn't see enough evidence for Dow to short. Who was here on my Monday session? Who was here on the Monday session? I mentioned to you guys that I didn't have enough data for Dow shorts because I just didn't see clarity in the market in terms of Dow. Like, I could have seen it go either way, long or short. Okay. So by the time we were here, I was indecisive. Okay. And I mentioned to you guys that I was going to set my weekly objective on a Tuesday. So I let Monday roll out. And so once I saw Monday closure and we closed above this bearish imbalance here, let me zoom in a little bit. This is the daily time frame. This is a daily insufficiency. Once we closed above that, to me, that was a pretty good indication that we were going to continue going higher. And so that's when I set my weekly objective to be 35,280. Okay. So that's where that came from. Yeah. But on Monday, our daily objective was hit, which was this mitigation candle. Okay, then Tuesday comes about, and it was just very evident to me that we were going to continue going higher, especially by the time I woke up. Let's see. By the time I woke up, we were moving lower, took out some. That's what it was. It was this previous daily low. Okay, so Dow taking out that previous daily low, that really just gave me the incentive that we were going to go higher. Dow was the only one that took previous daily low. Dow was the only one that was really strong on this day. Okay, it was really, really strong on this day, but you guys can see here, we trade into this new daily or weekly opening gap. Okay, notice how these magic blue boxes just magically get respected. Okay, notice the bodies here. Respect, respect, respect. Wicks do the damage, takes out previous daily low, and launches to the upside. Just absolutely blasts us to the upside. Okay, this was a rough day. I didn't participate on Dow. Yeah. So, anyways, Dow ends up longing pretty hard. Let's go over here. Right out of that new week opening gap. This day right here. Yep, on the 12th, Tuesday the 12th. And then here we have your CPI. I'm not gonna go over to CPI too much because CPI was kind of I don't think we took trades. We may have. I'm not sure. I think we took EU longs and it didn't go too well. This guy ended up just trading within its range on CPI. But the next day, it did what it needed to fucking do. All right, so here, oh my gosh, man, this trade was nasty. Let's go over here. Okay, so here, for PPI, okay, just look at the way price action. Bodies respecting blue shaded box after sweeping all these previous daily lows. Okay, after taking out all those lows, boom, price action creates the low of the week on Wednesday, CPI. Okay, then rejects towards the upside, imbalance. What do we trade back into? That insufficiency. What lines up with this insufficiency? This blue shaded box, which is a gap. Okay, then you have a nice insufficiency here. And so it was more in terms of if this area was respected, like this is game over. Okay, so once this price respected, this bullish price action respected, we have now bullish order flow. Okay, that at that moment you have bullish order flow. Then you wait for my signature 9 a.m. liquidity, and you guys can see, I mean, even if you took it right off this freaking like time frame, right? Order block is right here. The opening of that order block right there. Order block, liquidity. I mean, it just overlaps beautifully. Then, what time frame was it? Oh yeah, this imbalance right here. It's like, I'm pretty sure we respected an imbalance. But yeah, no, we disrespected this imbalance with the wicks, but the wicks do the damage, and remember, the bodies tell the narrative. The way we were respecting this area was overall a win for me. And I was looking for, hold on, let's go back to make sure that we can see the hourly here. Just go back to that. Let's see. There it is. Okay, so we were respecting with the bodies overall this 15-minute imbalance. We took out 9 a.m. liquidity, 9 a.m.'s low, into a order block, a bullish order block. I mean, it was just nasty trade. If you took it off the daily, I mean off the 1 hour, it would have just been that liquidity sweep. So 9 a.m.'s low, liquidity sweep as an entry, and then the order block as your stop loss, and trade would have gone a nice 104. These are how my usual trades go. This is my signature trades. This is how most of my trades look anyways. I'm not looking for some crazy R&R. If you guys are looking for some crazy R&R strategy, this is probably not the channel. You know, I'm sorry for that, but this is, I can consistently provide myself with 104s, 105s, 103s, consistently see them every day, consistently pull them every week, And it's just, I've learned my model and I follow it. I don't break my rules. And when I do, I note it, work on it, and improve it. We got 9 viewers on a Sunday morning. Badass, man. That's so cool. Okay, so then we have that, and then Friday. I mean, Friday. I don't really want to go over too much on Friday. It was just know that the strategy's there, no matter what. Like no matter what you guys see, the strategy is there. Wait for 10 a.m. After 10 a.m., what do we got here? 10 a.m. candle. We don't sweep any 9 a.m. liquidity. That's why I didn't trade. There's no 9 a.m. liquidity. There wasn't any liquidity other than previous daily high. Previous daily high was taken, cool, but besides that, I like to see intraday liquidity. And if I don't get my intraday liquidity, I will not take it. So now, but either way, strategy's there. Look, 10:05 creates an imbalance, price action trades into it, and just dumps towards those targets. The order flow is there, trades were present. I just didn't participate. Right? I just keep it simple. And if my simplicity is not there, then I just don't take it. Very, very easy. Okay. Friday, I was not looking for longs. I mean, for shorts. Yeah, Fridays, I was not looking for shorts. So I want to leave this next like 10-15 minutes for you guys, in case you guys have any questions, in case you have a setup this week that didn't work out. Drop it in the chat. If it's indices related, let me know what trades you guys took. I want to review your guys' trades. I want to see what you guys took for the week. What trades did you guys participate on? It was a very eventful week in terms of fundamentals. Okay, it was a very, very, very fundamental week. Like fundamentally driven week for sure. We didn't really do shit till PPI, and then Thursday, Friday just did the most. I know that there wasn't a lot to break down in terms of indices, but just study these levels. Okay, if there's anything that I want you guys to take from these calls, is the levels that I'm seeing price action do. Like, just know that every time I look at price action, I'm looking at it in terms of if it's below these orange or blue boxes, then it's resistance. If price action is above my blue boxes or orange lines, that's called support. And if price action were to trade above this previous level of resistance and trade that back down into it, that's support. What was once resistance turns into support because now price action is above it. Likewise with support. Once we trade below it and close below it, trade back into it, that becomes resistance because now we're below price, below those levels. So remember these levels, guys, that I'm teaching you. I'm not just marking out random ass spots on my chart. Like, I have very specific price points in which I look for accumulation, distribution, targets, entries, exits, and so that's what I want you guys to pay attention to. I want to train your eyes to be able to look at these areas and identify them yourself, right? Be able to identify and trade all these areas yourself. That's the goal here. That's the goal here, is you guys seeing these areas, because I hope you guys know every single Sunday, this is what happens on my chart. Look, blank, blank, blank. It's not like I keep all these fucking marks on my chart. Nope, it goes blanked out. I train my eyes to see these levels every single week, every single day. It goes all blank, and then I start from zero all over again, and I look at the same. Make sure that you don't miss Monday streams. Mondays are probably the most important stream. Monday and Tuesday, most important streams. That's where we go over all the data. Those are the two days that I would not miss. If you want to see how I set up these levels, if you want to see how I set up price action, if you want to see how I set myself up for the entirety of a week, make sure you tune in on tomorrow morning's stream at 9 a.m. Eastern. Guys, I'm not going to be doing these streams forever. You know, like consecutive back-to-back day streams forever. So I appreciate you guys who are consecutively tuning in. I've never seen 10 people on a on a weekend stream, especially on a Sunday. I think it's badass that you guys are here. Thank you guys so much for your time, space, energy, love, support. And guys, if you wouldn't mind, it really helps the channel so much when you guys like and share this video. Please let me know if there's anything that I can help you guys with. And yeah, guys, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Let's start the week strong. Let's start the week way strong tomorrow. Make sure you're tuning in and we set ourselves up for the entirety of the week. All right, guys? With that, love you guys. Take care. Clap easy. Let's trade responsibly. And let's just have an amazing start to a week. All right? Have an amazing start. Have a great one. Peace.